See, so we call it love. Everything, so love, there isn't, you can go to the darkest corner in the infinitesimal universe, and it is love that put it together there, that created that space. You see? What is love? It is the interdependence, interrelationship, interconnection of all that is. Because nothing is separate from anything else. How can it be? How can anything be separate from anything else? You mention anything, and the fact that it exists is because it's dependent on something else. You see? The carpet is there. Why? In order to walk on it. It is dependent on the walking. It is dependent. You see? So everything is interdependent, interconnected. Everything, nothing is separate from anything else. If it was possible for something to be separate, it would not exist. It couldn't exist. Period. You see? So everything that is seen, everything is experienced, is unique. Now there's another thing which is important. Now how many carpets are the same color, like this? But if you study this carpet, you'll find that this carpet is different than another carpet that seems exactly like it. Just like every face is different. Even each eye is different from another eye. Every fingerprint is different. Even the skin is different from one person to another. Everything is different. Why? Because this is. It has to create a unique expression, or in order for that unique expression to exist. If it could be just like something else, it could not exist. It would annihilate itself. It was impossible. No, not even annihilate itself. It just couldn't take root. You see, it couldn't form. So therefore, everything that we see, the multiplicity of expressions, are this it, appearing as all these billions and billions of forms. But it's all made up of that same one being. You see? Now when you understand being, you understand everything. There was a doctor of engineering, and his name is Robert... Oh, what's his last name? The guy I love so much. No, Robert Powell. Thank you. Yeah, he's in his late 90s now. He's still alive, and but he studied engineering when he was young, and one day he had an experience where he understood being. You see? And the moment it just flashed, he said that moment I gave up engineering because there was nothing that I didn't know. I understood science, I understood psychic phenomena, I understood human nature, I understood psychology, you name it. He says everything became clear the moment you understand being. That's all that's necessary. And this is why I find Advaita Vedanta so beautiful, because if you realize you are a human being, you see, now the average person on the street, they are human beings, but they haven't realized they are a being. So they just think they're human, only human. And so that's why they suffer. But the moment they realize that they are a being, you see, then the human becomes a shadow, an appearance of that being. Excuse me. It becomes an appearance of that being. You see, and the moment you understand that, there is nothing that you don't understand. Nothing. You can explain any question that is asked of you becomes clear and simple.
But you know, it's interesting as you read these, they're really magnificent, because even though there's control and the mind's stuck, they are going deeper.
Yes.
And this is a process. And
it's a process.
It's a slow process, and there's never a moment where you really get it. It's all mixed in. And there's moments where you realize.
Yeah.
And then you go back to the control and you realize, and then it just but
it keeps deepening all the time. Yeah.
But to even be able to express that is...
it's already quite a stage. Most people, when I get clients who are very, very new, you know, to this, they're not in touch with their feelings at all. Especially men. They seem to be less in touch with them than women. And sometimes it's just like pulling teeth, you know, trying to get to what they're really feeling at the moment, and they really cannot say what is happening. So even to write such emails, yes, it takes already awareness. Well, these people, even though they're writing these, they've already been receiving these emails for the last 6 months to a year, you see. So it takes a few years to really begin to understand that you are not who you think you are at all. Because all the time there is this need to be in control, so that you stick with this identity you think you are. And you're going to do everything in your power to remain in that idea. And there is nothing and no one that's going to change you. You're going to stick with it until, and that's what we're going to discuss next, until you either suffer great pain, or you begin to see the helplessness of the human attempt to control. And so that's what I'd like to discuss
or
next. Is, well?
I said, or both.
Or both. Or both. Yeah.
Not all. I know.
Yeah. Sometimes if you still want control, though, let's say you go through a lot of suffering, you know, great pain, you still want to be in control, and then you suffer a nervous breakdown, or you just simply go insane, goo goo gaga. You see, you lose it. We call it, you lose it. If you still want to resist and still want to be in control, when you are in the mire, then of course that's when we say a person just loses it, loses control, total control, which of course is right there. You see? Because you lose your being, so to speak. You block it completely, because the only real control is being. Well, who the heck is keeping your heart beating now? Being. Your cells changing, your blood circulating, your brain thinking, speaking, the voice, communicating, seeing, senses. It's all done by being, pure consciousness. You see? But being means being, to be, you see? Which means surrender, which means allowing, which means accepting, which means love. You see? And when you don't have that love, nothing will work in your life. Nothing. It's not possible. There was a story of a young man. He was barely 43. He was extremely wealthy, extremely powerful. As a matter of fact, you can find him. His name is Lester
Levinson.
There we are. Lester Levinson. He was 43, suffered a massive heart attack. And this man, when he suffered this massive heart attack, he was in such poor shape that the doctor said, well, there's nothing we can do for you right now in the hospital. You can go home, but don't even bend over to do your shoelaces, because you can keel over and die. So they said, you gotta get loafers, and don't go up the stairs unless you have to. And there is a virile man, fantastic energy, he's got wealth, he's got power, he's got everything, and now it's taken him. So he had to retire to his room, sit in a chair. And he found some morphine pills, and he says, well, I'm going to take these, and whenever I feel I cannot stand it anymore to live like this, you know. So the moment he found these morphine pills, he figured, there's a way out after all. I can always take them, and it's a beautiful way to die. Have you ever taken morphine?
Yeah,
I have too, and it's a beautiful feeling. You go into being, you know? Yeah. Okay, we all have. Good. Yeah.
Best drug.
Oh, it is wonderful.
Seriously?
Yeah. So anyway, so he had these morphine pills, and he kept them aside. He said, well, you know, if anything, you know, if I can't take it anymore, I just swallow them and go to sleep, and everything is over. But you see, it gave him a little bit of courage. He says, now, since I can take them any time, he says, I want to find out, what is life all about? What am I here for? And it gave him some new energy. So he was able to walk after a while. He went to libraries, researching. Anyway, I just want to make this very brief. And then he realized that the only time that he felt happy was not when he was loved, because he was loved by many women. It was when he loved, which is being. It wasn't loving or being loved when to give you this happiness. It is the capacity to love. And this